Hey guys, it's Carrie, and I'm going to be talking about decluttering my wardrobe. And there's going to be another video that's probably going to go up next week that is going to be tied into this one in a roundabout way. Basically the topics sound very different, but the one next week is going to be about earning extra income and savings. And one way that I earn extra income is by selling items out of my wardrobe. So that's how I'm going to tie them in together. So I hope you come back and watch the one next week as well. So another thing, I'm not going to be showing you any items from my wardrobe today. I'm just going to be giving you my tips and tricks and different things like that, and tell you what I have done. These may all seem like common sense, but you may not have thought of some of them. And then if I haven't said anything that you have thought of, please leave me a comment below and give me your ideas and tips as well. And also give them to other people so they can read them. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got several things on this list. I actually got 15 things, which is a lot. So the first thing to do is pull everything out of your wardrobe. Now you may want to do this in small sections, like say pull your t-shirts out at one time and then deal with them, and then pull the shirts, maybe some blouses, then some, whether you got skirts or jeans or shorts or dresses, do it kind of like that. It may be a little bit easier. So that's going to be the first thing that you're going to do. Look and see what you have. You got to know what you have before we can proceed. The next thing you're going to do is try everything on. You've got to do that. And then after that, you're going to ask yourself a few questions. Number one, does it fit? Does it fit? That is very important. Don't tell yourself, because I have done this, and say, well, if I could lose 10 pounds, it would fit. Just sell it. I mean, at that point, we're just going to sell it. I'm getting ahead of myself with that, but, pick it out and say, yes, this fit, or no, it doesn't. So everything that fits, we're going to kind of separate into two piles. And a lot of these ideas you can kind of do all at once, but I thought I would say you won't do it like that. So does it fit or does it not fit? The next thing you're going to ask yourself, is it comfortable? It may fit, but does it itch? Does it, that's the big one for me. Is it scratchy? Is it something, yeah, it may fit everywhere, but am I constantly tugging on it? For me, for an example, is it a skirt that's too short for me and I'm constantly tugging on it? It may fit everywhere else, but something like that. So you're going to ask yourself, is it comfortable? Do all that while you're trying the item on. The next one, this is number 5. When was the last time I wore the item? I apologize, the puppies are in here with me and you may hear them. That was a little commercial. So if you do hear them, they're in here. When was the last time I wore the item? If you haven't worn that item in over a year, do you need the item? I don't know. But ask yourself, when was the last time I wore the item? That's very important. If it's something that you wear regularly, that's something that you're probably going to want to keep. And if it's not something, like if you haven't worn it in 2 years or even longer, set that aside and we're going to do something with it later. The next thing, do I still love this item? And that's huge for me because I've got a lot of things that kind of tick off the others. At least, yes, it fits. It is comfortable, but I don't really love the item anymore. It's not, it's not anything that I want to keep. So ask yourself, how do you feel about it? Like you could say, if I was going to purchase this item now, would I repurchase that item because I love it so much? That is huge. Then this is one that I have been so guilty of. Did I forget about some items? Oh my goodness, yes I have. Where you'll pull something out doing this and you're going, I forgot I had that. And chances are, if you forgot about it, you haven't worn it in a long time, or you may never have worn it. That is also big. Have you ever worn the item? Period. So, did you forget about it? And if you did, you don't need it. More than likely, you don't need it if you forgot about it. Also, when I bought whatever the item was, did I experience buyer's remorse? That has happened to me several times. An example that it happened to me was the Christian Louboutin shoes. I experienced huge buyer's remorse after getting those shoes, and so that is just one example for me. Another one may be for you, maybe a handbag that you just had to have, or maybe it was a particular top or a jacket, and then after you got it, you're like, I felt horrible about this. A quick little note in there: if you've never worn the item and wherever you got it will let you return it, just take it back to the store. Just do that and get rid of it that way. I just thought I would throw that in there right now. So after you have answered all of those questions, the next thing that you may want to do, or you could actually put this probably towards the end of this process, but figure out what you want your wardrobe to look like. What is your style? And that may be something you need to do later, but I thought I would just throw that out there. So that was my number 10 thing on my list. I hope I'm keeping up with the correct numbers on this. So the next thing I have on my list, number 11, is now to separate everything into piles. You've already got your items that you're going to keep, so that's technically the first pile, but I would suggest that you just go hang those up at this point. So you do have your keep pile. Then you're going to have a pile of stuff that you're going to sell. And then you're going to have one that you're going to give away, and then you're going to have the garbage pile. So I would say the first thing that you're going to do is figure out what you're going to sell. This is going to be your money maker right there for this process, is the selling pile. Then figure out what platform you want to use to sell them. That is number 12 on my list, is figure out your platform. There are so many different platforms. My personal favorite is eBay. I love selling on eBay. I feel like I have been most successful on that, but there are so many other platforms. Figure out what works best for you. Then after you do that, figure out who you're going to give your items to. So that's number 13, is figure out who the giveaway items are going to go to. And I would suggest number 1 is potentially give them to a friend that you know would use them and would love these items. Or maybe your friend has a child that can use them. It just depends on what you're going through, the stuff that you're going through, to figure out who would enjoy that item. I would do that first. If you attend church and your church has maybe a really big yard sale every year or a few times a year, maybe you can donate items to your church, or maybe you could donate them to a women's shelter, someplace like that. So those are kind of like my top donation places first before I would consider Goodwill. I have no issue with Goodwill, no problem with it, but I feel like that is just a big black hole that stuff goes into. And I did read somewhere, I have no idea what the validity of this statistic is, but it said all items that are donated to Goodwill, of those items, only about 20% of them actually are sold in the Goodwill stores. The rest of the stuff is either shipped to a foreign country or it is sent to landfills. So whether or not that's all true, I do not know. I don't really have that data in front of me, but I have read that somewhere. So it did concern me that there is literally hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of items donated to Goodwill each year. That stuff cannot literally be sold in stores. That made sense to me. So Goodwill is not my first choice, but if it is your first choice, that is fine. This is your declutter and what you are going to do. So just kind of figure out what you're going to do with the stuff. So after that, next you're going to throw away some items. And I'm not 100% for actually tossing stuff into the garbage, but think about the throwaway items, what you actually can do with them. If you have some old ratty t-shirts that are full of holes, maybe you could cut them up and use them as dust cloths, stuff like that. So that's kind of like the throwaway items that I'm talking about. So let's see, I think yes, I think that's up to number 15. I didn't say, you know, all the numbers in this, but my number 15 item on my list is figure out what you're going to do with the extra income from your sales of your items and from this decluttering process. And that number 15 is going to lead me into the video for next week. So that's why I went ahead and added it on to this list for today's video. But I hope you enjoyed all of these tips that I have given you and ideas, and let me know if you have any other ideas that I didn't share. I would really love to hear from you. And for those of you who are wanting to know, yes, I have done this stuff, all of these things on that list. And for the month of January, this will go into the next video, so I probably shouldn't add too much more to this video, but I am aggressively saving for of the stuff that I have sold, that income. I'm aggressively saving that. So I thought I would just throw that in there right now. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really, really, really appreciate it. And come back next week and you'll hear more ideas. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.